Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mindy and I have lost approximately 125 pounds using GLP medications as a tool. And today I'm gonna do something we haven't done in a while. We're gonna walk through what I eat in a day. My day usually starts with a walk and depending on the week, a workout. I use the Trainwell app. I have a virtual trainer named Chris who is amazing, who sets up my workouts for me and works with me to find things that work within my physical limitations. And then after that, I get to breakfast. Through probably 90 to 95% of my journey, I have eaten the same breakfast. And that is kind of a meal planning tip from me to you, is to have certain kind of go-to dishes, things that you love that are quick and easy to prepare, that you can have kind of in your back pocket for weeks where you're trying a bunch of new things, or you just don't have a lot of time for meal prep on the weekend, or just something that's easy to make sure that you always can count on that one thing. And for me, that's my tried and true breakfast: 2 fried eggs, 2 pieces of Applegate chicken maple sausage, 6 tots that I fry up in my air fryer. I use the crispy rounds. They're a local brand. HEB carries them, but Ore-Ida has some that are, I think, called crispy crowns. I like the shape of those better. They have a more surface area for crunch, and texture is very important to me. And then I also do some yogurt, like a little yogurt parfait thing. I do 75 grams of fruit, usually mango or pineapple, because those are my favorites. When strawberries are in season, I'll do a much larger portion of strawberries just because strawberries are so very low in calorie. And then I'll do 115 grams of Oikos 000 vanilla yogurt. My most recent addition is 8 grams of granola. And I know what you're saying, 8 grams, why even bother? But this is my favorite granola, Nature's Path Organic, which I give no cares about organic, but it's delicious. It's coconut and cashew butter granola, and it is delicious. Please hold, my dog is losing his mind in the backyard. Sorry. When a 115-pound Mastiff gets zoomies and decides to start throwing his body at the side of your apartment building and digging a giant hole, you have to stop. Helios! Stop it. You guys think he's such an angel, and 60% of the time he is. Well, probably more like 75 to 80% of the time he is. Anyway, I only need 8 grams of this. It's not very much, but it's enough to give me a little bit of crunch. I have a little bit of that coconutty, cashew buttery kind of interest to go into there, so it's not just all soft, like soft fruit, soft yogurt. I have a little bit of crunch and sweetness, and so good. This stuff is also really fun to throw on top of like desserts and just, yeah. Anyway, I always have this on hand. I keep it on my Amazon subscribe and save, so they just send it to me once a month and I get an extra 15% off. Anyway, that's breakfast. And as I ate it today with the pineapples, it came out to 427 calories, 32 grams of protein, 30 carbs, and 20 grams of fat. And it is delicious. It will also keep me full for a very long time, which makes me very happy. That's it for breakfast. I will see you guys later for lunch.
When someone don't help you, when someone don't help you through the rain, when feelings don't matter, and everything's nothing but a game. Just know that I'm with you. Just know that I'm with you through it all. And I'm gonna be there whenever you win or if you fall.
I'm sure you guys have gathered by now that sweet and savory is like my thing. This is my favorite side salad. It's just several leaves of either romaine or this is green leaf lettuce. Unfortunately, my refrigerator has started to taking to freezing everything in it. So I had to kind of cut off the wilted, frozen, sad parts. I normally have cucumbers, but I finished them all. And then a few tomatoes, pickled red onions or raw red onion if I have them. And then just a tablespoon of of the Mrs. Cubbison's honey roasted pecans and cranberries. Delicious. A little crunchy, a little sweet, a little salty. And then, of course, a tablespoon of the Ken's fat-free pecan raspberry vinaigrette. If you have not tried that vinaigrette, it is so good. So good. 45 calories for 2 tablespoons, and I only need a tablespoon for this salad. Now have a bite. Love the little oniony bite in there. And then this is leftover chicken pesto pizza. This is a macro-friendly food recipe. If you're new to my channel, Macro Friendly Food is a high protein recipe subscription service. I pay for a 3-month subscription. It's $30, so $10 a month. She's got, I think, over 1,000 high protein, low calorie recipes on her site at this point. It's just makes meal planning so much easier. I don't have to search all over the internet for things or try to adapt things on my own. I mean, I still do because obviously I have this channel and I need to introduce new things to you guys all the time, but I still use her recipes at least 1 meal a week. This one was a new recipe for January and it is delicious. It uses that 2-ingredient pizza dough. I have a printable 8.5 by 11 or 3 by 5 recipe card on my Buy Me a Coffee page if you're interested in supporting my content and you'd like to print that out, but I will have the recipe written down in the description for you as well. But it's just a 2-ingredient dough. It uses self-rising flour and Greek yogurt. That recipe is all over the internet. It's absolutely delicious. So good. And I just reheat it for 30 seconds in the microwave just to take the chill off. And then I put it in my air fryer at about 350 for 7 to 10-ish minutes. And just listen to the crisp of this crunch. With the balsamic glaze drizzled on top. So good. And I just used rotisserie chicken on it, so it's super easy. Just pesto, cheese, rotisserie chicken. Oh, I forgot the onions on top of my pizza. I need to put the pickled red onions on my pizza. I'm like, it feels like it's missing something. It's because it is. It's missing the pickled red onions. So I'm going to put those on there. If you've never made pickled red onions before, it is a fantastically easy condiment. I put it on everything when I have them in my fridge. And I just made them for you guys in a recipe a couple of weeks ago. I will link that here if you're interested. But a lot of people don't realize how quick and easy they are to make. So simple, so delicious. Whoop. So this whole meal, those 2 huge pieces of pizza, plus my salad, 502 calories with 39 grams of protein, 51 grams of carbs, and 16 grams of fat. Winner, winner, pizza, lunch, or dinner. I'm gonna go eat. Get away from my plate, sir. Sir. Really? Are you kidding me? It's dinner time. Dun, 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 dun. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna make some cozy, delicious, wonderful tomato soup with some ground beef because my husband likes ground beef in his tomato soup. And this is inspired by a macro-friendly food recipe. Her recipe used cottage cheese in it, and even if I blend it, I know there will be little bits of curd, which probably wouldn't bother me, but I have a ton of high protein milk and Greek yogurt in my fridge that needs to get used up. So I basically took a look at what I would need to do to sub out the combination of low fat and whole high protein milk and Greek yogurt in order to equate to the same macros as the cottage cheese. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm sure it'll work out. It'll be great because the Greek yogurt is going to be very sour cream like, which I think will be delicious. I'm going to start with browning my ground beef because this soup is going to get blended, and obviously I don't want to blend ground beef because gross. This soup is already quite high in protein, so I don't need to add a ton of ground beef. So we're just going to do a pound, 93% ground beef. I've had my pan preheating for quite some time. Hopefully I won't set off my fire alarm. That would be nice. There we go. And I have a ton of seasoning going into this later, but I do want to at least season the ground beef a little bit. So I'm just going to add some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. onion powder so that that ground beef has a little flavor. We'll throw a little MSG in there for funsies. The last several times I've preheated this pan, I've gone too far, so I think I undercompensated in the other direction, unfortunately. So I'm gonna pull out this ground beef to add back in later. And then we're gonna pour in a tablespoon of oil and onions. Again, all of this is going to get blended, so I'm not really worried about my onions being in bigger pieces. A couple tablespoons of tomato paste. That tomato paste to cook down and deepen in color. And then I'll add in my garlic. 1 gargantuan clove and 2 smallish cloves. It's just a cup of water. But I'm gonna add some chicken better than bouillon because the recipe calls for bone broth, but it wanted 4 cups and they only sold 24-ounce containers, which is 3 cups, and I was not about to buy a whole other thing of bone broth for 1 cup. So add in my other 3 cups of bone broth. Add a teaspoon of chicken better than bouillon since we just used water for that last cup. And I probably should have added my spices to the oil, but you know, here we are. Got salt. Recipe called for black pepper, but I'm using white pepper, basil, oregano. I'm adding in some red chili flake because yum. And then also I'm adding in some granulated garlic because you can never have too much garlic, in my opinion. Stir those in. 2 28-ounce cans of whole tomatoes. These are San Marzano. They're more expensive, but also they're so delicious. And this is a very budget-friendly soup with just a few ingredients. So in my opinion, if you're doing that, then the individual ingredients themselves need to shine. So I spent the extra money for the San Marzano tomatoes. I'm gonna stop there for now. I'm gonna bring this up to a boil and let it simmer for, I don't know, 15 to 20 minutes or so. Then we're gonna get out my immersion blender and blend this baby till it's smooth. Oh, I almost forgot something. We're also gonna add in a tablespoon of sugar. This just kind of helps with the acidity in the canned tomatoes. Totally optional if you don't want to add it. Silky. That's all that extra collagen from the bone broth, I'm sure. So I'm gonna put the lid on this, bring it to a boil, let it simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we'll be right back. This has been going for 15-ish minutes or so. Take off the lid here and steam you up. And then while I was waiting for that to simmer and do its thing, I took 113 grams of non-fat Greek yogurt and I immersion blended it into 3 cups of fat-free high-protein milk as a way to try and give it a head start to not having any clumps in it. So now I'm gonna take my immersion blender and I'm going to blend up all of these tomatoes. If you've ever used high-protein milk in a recipe and discovered that while you were boiling it, it got all curdled, it's because of the high protein content. So I'm gonna add it at the end. And of course you could just use a food processor or a regular blender if you wanted to. I'm just using my immersion blender so that I don't have to dirty another dish. I'm just trying to get this as smooth as possible. It's as smooth as we're gonna get it, I think. 1 cup of high protein whole milk. This is 3 cups of high protein, low fat milk with 113 grams of Greek yogurt blended in. That is a lot of soup. And I have this turned all the way down to low now because I'm just heating it through. A taste for seasoning here. I'm gonna add in some more garlic powder. And a teensy bit more MSG. And then I'm gonna throw in that ground beef. Oh, that texture looks pretty to me. But if you wanted it thicker, you could always add a little bit of a cornstarch slurry to it. That's a lot of soup. That's supposed to be how many servings? This is supposed to be 6 servings of soup. This is an 8-quart Dutch oven, and it's filled up to there. That's a lot of soup. And then instead of making grilled cheeses with this, we're taking the easy way out, and I'm just gonna use 5 cheese Texas toast. So I'm just gonna use 1 piece. If I made my own grilled cheese using the Sara Lee Delightfuls bread, I have a feeling I could probably save a few calories, but it would be minimal, and I think that I'm gonna like the Texas toast more, so worth it. And this soup is so low calorie, it's not gonna matter. You guys wait till you see the macros on this thing. I'm gonna leave that on low while I heat up our garlic cheese toast in the air fryer, and then we'll be back for a taste test.
Yeah, you and me been fighters right from the start.
Okay, so yeah, 6 servings, not even close. More like 10-ish, 8 to 10 at least. This giant bowl that is almost full to the brim is roughly 2/3 of a serving if it was 6. And that makes it even more calorie friendly than I had originally intended, which was already very, very calorie friendly. So this whole dinner with the giant bowl of soup as is, and that beautiful golden brown crispy piece of cheese bread is 425 calories, 31 grams of protein, 34 carbs, and 18 grams of fat. On its own, the soup is 245 calories for that giant bowl, 27 grams of protein, 15 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat. I mean, you could virtually eat this soup until you burst, and you're gonna be good. Yeah, let's give it a taste. I mean, I've already kind of tasted for seasoning, so I already know it's good, but we'll get a whole spoonful. There's a little bit of tanginess from the Greek yogurt, which obviously if you use cottage cheese, it would be more like a savory, cheesy flavor. It's obviously quite a bit more liquidy because of using the milk instead of the cottage cheese, but I think the texture is beautiful. It's very silky from using the bone broth and all the collagen that's in there. Let's give a dunk. Yep. Buttery and cheesy and garlicky. I'm gonna eat the snaz out of this. Probably gonna be eating it into next week too, because I made way more than I thought it would. My husband's already on his 2nd bowl. He loves tomato soup with ground beef in it, so he's a happy camper. We still have 1 more meal to go tonight because I can't end the night without a little sweet treat. I've shared this recipe with you before, but I have perfected it, so we're gonna be doing it again. See you at dessert. It's dessert time. And I have shared this recipe before. This is my protein peanut butter fruit dip. I use it for apples, and I have since crafted this recipe to perfection, so I just wanted to share it with you guys. We're gonna start with peanut butter. So you could make this entirely with PB Fit or defatted peanut flour, but it wouldn't have a deep enough peanut buttery flavor. I find it works better when you combine the two. We're gonna do 16 grams or 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, and I'm gonna put that in a microwave safe dish, and I'm gonna pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds to get the peanut butter nice and loose. So I think you can probably see how liquidy that peanut butter is because it makes it easier to mix in with the other ingredients. Now we're going to use 17 grams of PB Fit or PB2 or whatever kind of peanut flour you like. I like PB Fit because it has a little bit of palm sugar in it. 17.1, close enough. I tried to give you guys a measurement for the water. I don't ever measure the water. I just pour it in and mix it up until the texture looks right. It's between 2 and 4 tablespoons of water, depending on the texture you like. So I'm gonna add in a couple of squirts of water, and then I'm gonna stir this around until I get a whipped peanut butter type consistency. Anyway, that's kind of the consistency we're looking for, like that. 45 grams of Oikos 000 vanilla yogurt or your vanilla Greek yogurt of choice. And then we're gonna mix that in until it is homogeneous. Another ingredient that I sometimes forget, and I always regret it when I do, is some salt. And I don't know, 1/8 of a teaspoon to 1/4 of a teaspoon ish, but it never tastes right when it doesn't have the salt. So make sure you scrape the sides and the bottom of the dish, because that peanut butter is kind of thick, so it hangs out there and won't get mixed in. So this is the texture we have now after the yogurt. It's very moussey and kind of whipped. And then we're gonna add, and this seems like why bother, but it's not the same. It's not the same without it. So 5 grams of a chocolate protein powder of choice. I'm using the chocolate truffle PE Science Select. And I have tried this with the peanut butter protein powder. I didn't like it as much as with the chocolate. And I may have to add more water because this is a whey casein blend. So sometimes it makes it too thick. And it's gonna get thicker as it sits. So you might want it just a little bit more runny than you want it at the end. And this is my final product here. It looks like a peanut butter mousse, kind of. It's enough to have a good amount of peanut butter on a good size apple. And my favorite apples to eat this with are Cosmic Crisps or Honey Crisps. You just need your favorite apple. If you like Granny Smith's, great. But I like a sweeter, super crunchy apple. So I'm gonna slice up an apple really quick and then we'll give it a taste.
Hey, don't you worry about a thing. You get what you're given, but it's never too late to spread your wings.
I'm very excited about this. This has become my new hyperfixation snack dessert meal thingy. I've had this almost every night for the last like 2.5 to 3 months. I just take a little spoon of the peanut butter goodness and I smear it, and you smear. Anybody tell me what that's from? I don't know if we can be friends if you can't. It's from the birdcage. Peanut buttery, sweet, savory, crunchy, happy, delicious, so good. So good. Helios also loves this treat because I gave him my little offcuts of the apples. He's so cute. I hope you enjoyed this day of eating with me. If you did, please give me a like. Let me know down in the comments if this is something that you would enjoy seeing more often from me, or if there's another type of content that you would love to see from me. I would love to hear from you. Just let me know. Thanks as always to my Buy Me a Coffee members for your continued support. If you're interested in supporting my content, take a look at the link down in the description to join as a member on my Buy Me a Coffee page. I do give free access to my recipe cards and also my weekly meal plan that I send out. And I think that's it for today, you guys. Thanks again for being here, for watching, for supporting me, for being amazing. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better.